Hi, this is Jacqueline from Creating My Garden, and this is Chili. And today we want to talk about miniature roses and how to look at. So these are the miniature roses I have. These are my examples, and I particularly want to show you the differences in roses, okay? So let's start with a healthy miniature rose. This is a healthy yellow miniature rose that I bought regular price at a local store. You can see how the leaves are nice and green, dark. You can see there's lots of new shoots and growth on the top. And it just overall looks really nice and healthy as a plant. It's starting to drop a few leaves, but that's normal for plants to drop leaves. Now let's talk about these guys. These were 3 roses that I picked up on sale, like cheap, like clearance price sale. They're still giving the odd bud, but you can tell the leaves are getting quite yellow. And if you compare the color to this one, you can see a huge difference in the health of these 2 roses. So some TLC is required for these roses to get them back to where they belong. So let's start this process. So number 1, let's cut these roses back. So we'll start with this one. So I'm going to take them down like a couple inches here. So I'm going to take them down to the one of the lowest leaf nodes there is, which is right here. I'm not going to take them all the way down to here because I still want to be able to start some new growth. So we're going to cut them all off about that height. Okay, because they will send out new leaves at that level. So I'm just going to go around here, and yes, the flower is going to go, sadly. And I'm going to cut them all back. And I'm cutting them right above that node so that they can send out new leaves. All right, that one's done, and I'm just gonna actually chop that off because that leaf is not healthy. And let's look at these. We wanna make sure that when we prune these back, that there's gonna be lots of air, lots of air movement in the center and not a lot of branches sticking out. So let's just clean them up a bit more. And I'm going to take actually this one below. All right, so that looks pretty good. They're nice and clean. So let's do the next one. We're going to do all of these at once. So I'm just going to keep going and you can watch the process. So I'm looking as I do this, where those nodes are for where the new leaves are going to come out. And I'm just going to prune these ones off just to make it nice and clean. All right, so most of these branches are facing outward, which is perfect for new growth. Okay, let's do this one. Let's get rid of this flower. I hate to cut this flower, it's gorgeous. This is one of my favorite colors, but this is for the goodness of the rose. So I'll say goodbye to that pretty little miniature rose flower. And by the way, these are very scented, which is an added bonus. So roses, miniature roses. These are meant for more of a zone 4 climate. I'm in Saskatchewan, I'm in a zone 3B climate. However, these can go out in the garden once all danger of frost is passed. So here in Saskatchewan, it's May 11th to 20th when our danger of frost usually ends. So I wouldn't put these out before the 20th of May. Maybe even longer if we're still seeing the odd night with some frost. Sometimes our seasons are a little later for when we can start planting out. And you want to plant these, deep in the soil up to the base of the rose, just like in this pot. And I would space them probably a good couple feet apart because they will branch out and bush out. Okay, so there's some tips for you. For fall care, I'm just going to talk about this real quickly. In order to take these roses from year to year in a zone 3B, which is not their normal climate, you're going to have to mulch these over heavily with grass, mulch. You can even buy the rose cones and put them on them if you want to do that. Some people will use insulation and wrap them and then put mulch over. Personally for me, I will use grass clippings and then I'll use a heavy cedar mulch on them to protect them and mound it up really good so that it's up about 3 or 4 inches on each side and on the top to protect them for the winter and water them in really well to get them through the season. And I won't uncover them again until after the last frost. Okay, so that's how those are. This one, we're actually just gonna pot up. We're not gonna cut this one back because it looks really good. So we'll do that one last. So let's do these. So I have my soil here and it's a nice organic soil. Once again, it's not an expensive soil. It's whatever I find locally that's reasonable, but you want it to be a fairly light soil. It's got some organic stuff in it. Roses like some organic material in their food, in their soil. And I am gonna add some Miracle-Gro Shake and Feed to the soil because these roses are showing some deficiencies. One is iron, you can see by the leaf. The other one is copper. So when they start getting spots like that, some will call it the black spot. It's a deficiency in copper. So let's give them a well-rounded food that contains copper and contains iron. And we're gonna mix it into some fresh soil because I'm sure this soil has been drained of nutrients. And let's give them a new home. I'm just gonna sprinkle this in, and I'm not gonna go deep on this because I'm using the topsoil. We're just gonna give this a good sprinkle. And you can see how I'm generously adding to the slow release fertilizer to the soil. And I'm just gonna mix it in a little bit for this particular pot. And I'm gonna put some in the bottom of the pot, okay? You can see what I put into the pot. Now we're gonna look at this pot size. You only wanna go about 1 inch bigger in your pot from the original pot the plant's in. You wanna give them some extra room, but not too much room because you want them to put all their energy into the growth of the plant. So we're gonna take this one out. And by the way, these little guys, they still have thorns, but they're not as dangerous as the large hybrid tea roses or grandifloras. All right, or the shrubs. Okay, so let's look at this. This root system doesn't have a lot of nice white roots in it. There are a few, but not a lot. So I'm gonna take it over here and I'm gonna take some of this off. I'm gonna untangle these roots and I'll show you what it's gonna look like. You're gonna see some hanging roots. I'm just gonna make sure they're spread out so you can see I'm spreading them out good. There's some nice white roots right there, a little higher up. And I'm gonna fit it in the pot first because I wanna make sure it's down to about this line here on the pot. So I'm just gonna put it in, make sure it's nice and firmly in place. It's got some fertilizer in it, in the soil and in the top. I might even just add a sprinkle more in there, just around the sides, just to make sure it's evenly distributed through the soil. So you can see that. And now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna top it up with fresh soil. And you'll see some twigs and some organic material in that, and that's okay, as long as they aren't like giant twigs. And we got a little bit too much soil there, which happens every so often. So we'll just take it down. Once I water this, that soil will compact down, which is good because we want it to compact and get rid of any air holes around these plants. I'm just gonna tap it, tap, tap, and now you can see it's still quite fluffy. I'm pushing it in around the sides and firming that soil around the root, and I'm kind of pulling it away from the center of these roots, where these roots join near the soil surface. All right, and I'll just give a little bit more on top because I don't see a lot of sprinkles in there. Just a few, and that one's done. So now I'm just gonna quickly go ahead and do the rest. Matilda. And I'm just gonna stop this for 1 second. And Matilda, come. 1 second, I gotta deal with the diva of the house. All right, let's stop for a second and then we'll finish this up. I just want to get her to quit barking so we can finish doing this video. Are you done? Are you done being a diva? Yep. Mm-hmm. You're such a good girl. Yes. All right. You let me finish this, hey? Okay, let me finish this video. Go chill. Okay, so let's get this done. And Matilda will be Matilda. A little more entertainment to the video. Let's put it that way. She's always the life of the party. Alrighty, and here's the last one. Once again, I'm just gonna rip it apart here. I'm not being real gentle either with this one. There we got some nice white roots there. I'm gonna go reach over, take some new soil. Perfect. Let's see, one more push. Good. And a little more sprinkle. Spread that out. And you can see that one's done. So when I water, it'll activate that slow release fertilizer and start feeding these plants. All right. And finally, this one. It's very healthy. It looks really good. But you know what? It needs a new home. And soon it's going to turn into one of those plants. Now look at the difference in the roots on this one. When we looked at those, a lot of brown roots. When we look at this one, we see some white roots. That's a good sign with these roses. All your plants, you want to see some white roots on them. A little bit pot bound, but not a big deal. I mean, this is not what you call extreme pot, a plant that's extremely pot bound. But soon it would need to be transplanted. So we might as well just do it now since I'm doing the other ones. I'm making a mess, so let's just continue. All right, so with this one, I am gonna tease it still a little bit and loosen up that root ball to help it get started in the pot and how it spread out and grow, okay? This doesn't hurt the plants. This is actually good for them because those roots get kind of tight in the pots. So you can see now with this one, in particular, look at those nice white roots on that. It's a beautiful thing, you guys. So let's put some fresh dirt in and give it new life and new organic material to grow in. And we don't need much because this one doesn't need as much. I am going to give it a quick sprinkle and put it in. And then I'm going to add some extra to the top now. When they're full like this, it's a little, you know, a little harder to plant them and backfill with the soil. Plus, ouch, those thorns are a little prickly. So I'll carefully go around the edge and compact this soil and firm it up so there's no air holes. And I snap the odd branch, but hey, it'll rebound. Okay. I noticed in the one side here I haven't got enough soil, so I'm going to add a bit more. It's coming nicely. Ah, that's better. And we're going to top dress it. So we need food. Spread it out a little bit. All right. So that's 4 roses done. And just so you know, this is a beautiful yellow miniature, and these ones were all orange miniatures. All right. So that's how you pot up roses, and that's how you care for miniature roses. And it's great to get a bargain at the store, just sometimes they need a little more love and tenderness, and that's what we gave these roses. We gave them a bit of a haircut, we gave them new life with new fresh soil and fertilizer to feed them and deal with some of the deficiencies that they had. And now we're ready to water them nicely and to put them in a spot to get some sun and let them grow. And then we'll have some new fragrant miniature roses that will be nice and healthy and ready for the garden to go out in the next 6 weeks. All right, so that's it for planting up miniature roses. So I'd like to thank you for watching my video. Please remember to subscribe to my video and like my videos. This helps to motivate me to keep doing more videos to you and bring you some quality content with regard to plants and how to grow things in some of the colder climates that we live in here in Canada. And please drop me a comment or a suggestion or anything you want me to do a video on in the comments on the YouTube video. I'd really appreciate it and love to hear from you. So thanks again, and remember, let gardening warm your soul. Thank you, everyone. Bye.